Welcome back, guys. Today we will be looking at two sentence scary stories because sometimes the scariest stories are the short ones. Mr. Midnight is not here. He'll be here soon, I'm sure. So let's get into this. And always remember, the darkness always follows. I was born blind, but was lucky enough to have a loving mother who took care of my every need. Imagine the betrayal I felt when a stitch slipped and a ray of light hit my eye for the first time. Out of sheer boredom, I turned on the radio in my kidnapper's basement, only to hear that he had been arrested the day before. I thought they were still searching for me, but when I heard my own voice saying how much I was glad to finally be found. An hour into her cave exploration, Sarah's flashlight broke and she was forced to blindly follow the faint breeze coming from the cave's entrance. Remembering the Zippo in her pocket, she flicked it on, revealing the lanky, eyeless man who had been blowing on her face, leading her deeper underground. I knew it must have been a mistake when the police said I was involved in aiding a kidnapping. But when they told me they had video proof, I became intrigued. I felt myself go from hero to villain as they played the grocery store footage from hours prior, showing me returning a lost girl to who I thought was her father. When mother died, we were faced with the monumental task of cleaning out the house she'd been holding in for 4 decades. The roaches and rats and dead pets and piles of animal excrement were bad enough. But when we found out that Dad hadn't run out on us all those years ago, we decided to just burn the place down. I was driving down the foggy highway when I blinked, and all the red tail lights of the cars ahead of me suddenly vanished in the midst. I've been driving for 2 hours since then. I haven't seen a single car or exit ramp, and the fog keeps getting thicker. All my life, my parents have told me not to open the basement door, but I got curious and disobeyed them. What is that glowing ball in the sky, and why does it hurt my eyes? My twin and I have been really close, and people say we joined at the hip. As the cancer spreads, I really wish we didn't share the same vital organs. I used to hate the sound of crickets outside the lonely farmhouse. Now every time they go silent, I know that thing is passing by, and I pray for them to chirp again. I decided to kill off a few characters in the book I'm writing. It should definitely spice up this autobiography a little. The last thing I saw was my alarm clock flashing 12:07 before she pushed her long, rotting nails through my chest, her other hand muffling my screams. I sat bolt upright, revealed it was only a dream, but as I saw my alarm clock read 12:06, I heard my closet door creak open. I love to turn up my favorite songs and sing along. It drowns out the screaming from the root cellar. My family can all remember their past lives, so one day I told my son I was a girl who was murdered. He grinned and responded, "What are the odds we'd meet again?" On the monitor, I can see my husband's cheeky face slowly creeping up to the security's cam in an attempt to scare me. I'd laugh, but then I see his torso, arms and legs all separated on the ground in the background. I finished my final perfect put to thunderous applause. If only I could speak and tell the little girl who owned my music box of the living hell I was trapped in. Being burned alive was bad enough. Realizing I wasn't alone in my own grave was worse. Remember, don't peek, it's a surprise, said my parents coldly. I heard them chuckle as they threw me down the basement steps as food for the thing. My blind date texted that he'd finally arrived and was sorry for being 15 minutes late to pick me up. The issue was, we'd already been driving for 10 minutes. People always ask how many kids come to my house for trick-or-treating. None of them ever ask how many leave. I thought I had witnessed a miracle when I saw a mother lifting her car off of her newborn baby today. It wasn't until she dropped it down again, yelling her baby was the devil, that I realized maybe not. Another young couple came in through the door, and I hurried to get a table ready, sighing. Weekends are always so busy. Car accidents, murders, drug overdoses. It's always the worst shift in the morgue. I kept hearing a strange giggle coming from my TV. Regardless of what channel or volume it was on, I never thought to check behind the TV. I can't move, breathe, speak, or hear, and it's so dark all the time. If I knew it would be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead. The pictures I take of others tell 1,000 words. Every one of them is help. I'm not scared that I've been seeing missing posters for myself. It's the fact that the news is now saying that my body has been found. I'm tucking my son into bed when he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement, and I see him, another him under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed." I recently taught myself Morse code, but I wish I hadn't. Now the birds peck at my window, warning me that it's coming. Our son always screamed when we cut him his hair. We told a psychiatrist, hoping for guidance. Several tests and doctors later, guilt brought me to my knees when the genetic specialist described what was believed to be a unique condition. There were live nerve endings in the boy's hair. You know, they say once you become a murderer, you can tell who else has murdered. "He's innocent," I announced with a bang of my gavel, dismissing the court. I woke up, got myself a drink of water, and returned to get back into bed. There I was, still laying there, my face blue and my hollow eyes staring off into the distance. Well guys, that's it for today. I hope these stories, these 2-sentence stories, short stories, scared you and terrified you. I'll see you again very soon, and I hope Mr. Midnight can join us as well. I'm going to finish with Mr. Midnight's favorite catchphrase. And always remember, the darkness always follows.